Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch, and I am back with some NU content because so much is going on and I'm so excited to bring it to y'all, so what's poppin'? But anyway, I'm going to bring you guys all 5 games from this week of Swadloon Snake Draft. We got GW against my boy Pokmon, and GW against my teammate. We're really close friends, he's a great player, so this is going to be a thriller for sure. We got Realistic Waters versus JRDN, 2 really strong, long-time NU players. We have Schneider, who's probably the best NU player going in the tournament, or at least most proven this generation, versus Skipcan, who substituted in for, I believe, Kushalos this week, or maybe it was substituted in, I think it was for Kushalos, yeah. Skipcan's more of a PU player, but that's fine, he's still a solid player for sure. We got Holland confirmed, who subbed in for Bobby Dagan, and Holland is a great NU player as well, against Aladdin. And last but not least, we got Bugsrc versus Swadloon, a game between 2 people who don't frequent NU but are getting into it this generation, and that's just as exciting as any other games for me. Now we're going to start with the GW versus Pokemon game, but first, before we get into any of the games, I just want to discuss some recent happenings in the NU tier. For those of you that aren't as familiar, we saw a ton of Pokemon drop in the tier, and because of that we had to vote on them. We had to ban Finchinator and I think like Sigilif or some other strong Pokemon in the early days before we could even have a council vote. Like, they were so clearly broken, they were like, no, get the hell out of my tier. So they got shoved away pretty quickly, but then we had a council vote on some other Pokemon, Tauros, Rabambi, Drampa, Duraludon, Executor Alola, Vikavolt, Haunter, Sneasel, and I think one other thing, Frostmoth. Yeah, we voted on all those Pokemon, and just to list some other Pokemon that also fell into the tier just to see how relevant it is, we also see things like Sandslash Alola, Clawitzer, Cincino, Mudsdale, which is interesting, Whimsicott, Bulky Waters. Oh yeah, there are a lot of Bulky Waters, Poliwrath, Gastrodon, alright, Jellicent as well, yeah. Galvantula for Sticky Webs is really neat. Rhydon's there, Stealth Rocker. I think we got a new Silvally form, even Sableye, yeah. And it will affect the viability of some other Pokemon as well. Oh yeah, we also got Ninetales, but keep in mind the Drought is banned, so kind of limited in what it can do, I'd say. I'm just trying to think if I missed anything. I'm actually scrolling through the MP3 on my phone, but yeah, I think that, oh yeah, we got Runrigus as well. Runrigus too. Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, there's just a lot of buzz about those, but ultimately we came to a verdict that we're going to vote on the Pokemon listed the first time, and then we voted this weekend. Personally, I voted ban on Drampa, Executor Alola, Duraludon, Tauros, and Vikavolt, and I didn't vote ban on Rabambi, Sneasel, Haunter, and Frostmoth. Others felt differently though, and that is completely fine. Of course, we're more than entitled to different opinions, and still very early in the metagame. I only got to play a couple dozen games, so it was pretty limited, but ultimately, after a lot of discussion, we decided that Executor Alola, Haunter, and Tauros would all be banned from SSNU effective immediately. I didn't personally agree with the Haunter one, but that's fine. Tauros was virtually unanimous aside from one dude, and Haunter and Executor Alola all got banned besides 2 people. I didn't vote ban on Haunter. Keo and I did, in particular everyone else did, which is fair. I thought that it was a bit slow, and a lot of fast Pokemon were taking the forefront of the metagame, plus it was kind of prediction reliant because there aren't a lot of poison resists, and there are a handful of viable ghost resists still, but that is fine with me. As for Executor Alola, it was like 6 or 7 people voted ban as well, but yeah, it's just the Tearlax Dragon counterplay, and that's also why I voted ban on Duraludon and Drampa too. Unfortunately, those both just got slight minorities. Eternally voted ban on Drampa with me, and Robbie and Schneider voted ban on Duraludon with me, but that's fine. They're going to stay in the tier, so it'll be interesting to see how they adapt. But yeah, so we're still going to see Drampa, Duraludon, Frostmoth, Rabambi, Sneasel, and Vikavolt in the tier, and that's really interesting, alongside the other Pokemon I mentioned. So yeah, just trying to see if there's anything else missing. I don't think so. So this is like the last week of like the same old, but also like sane, I guess, old NU metagame. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to be seeing some of the old trends, our old favorite Pokemon in NU before it completely reorganized itself around other new threats that might centralize the tier, that might dictate the usage flow, and I think that's really cool. We're going to see the finest players of the old SSNU metagame really bring it together one last time, and the first game is between my teammate, good friend, GW. Really excited about him, and also really proud that he's getting this opportunity because I think he's grown a lot as a player recently, and of course, everyone's favorite Pokemon YouTuber besides me, of course, Joey PokeAim MD, my man, my friend, someone who I've collaborated with before, someone who's undoubtedly one of the best players. He's a really strong player, and he really has enjoyed any of this generation, so he's playing against Nick, and it's going to be interesting. So right off the bat, my boy GW, we wanted to do something with Scarf Toxicroak, so he came up with this team, really solid. Scarf Toxicroak, a Wiz Pex, Defog, Utility Rotom. Just, I think a Wish Clefairy, something like that, like Wish Toxic or not. I think Wish Knock. An offensive Piloswine with Stealth Rock. Workup mixed Silvally Dragon with like Draco Meteor, Flamethrower, Iron Head, and Workup was a really cool set. And also just a pivot Persian Alola. Overall, it's a really solid team. It definitely has a couple like here and there vulnerabilities, but I really love the structure and I think it's great, and I'm really excited that he came up with it, and it did really well in tests. So I'm excited to see him bring this game out. As for Joey's rocking a solid team as always himself. He's got a Weezing, which interestingly enough, it actually turned out to be neutralizing gas. We've seen some of that, some of it. I think both are viable. We see a Silvally here. Not too sure what the type's going to be. He doesn't have an electric beam, but we don't really see Silvally ground very much. Maybe it's a Silvally Dragon as well for electric resist, or maybe even Silvally Grass or electric resist. I'm not quite sure yet. I can't put my finger on it, but we'll have to wait and see. He also has a Wishy-Washy, which is always a great Pokemon to bring. A Persian Alola, a Miltank, which is probably going to be a Stealth Rock setter. Persian Alola being kind of half speed control, half, like physically off defensive presence. Rotom, which is likely there. Rotom Fan, which is likely there for being a thing that's like a secondary check to Earthquake fighters like Toxicroak and Sock, as well as just, hazard removal. And yeah, Wishy-Washy is just, a pivot. It can deal some nice damage as well. So, we're interested to see how this game transpires. We're not going to beat around the bush that much, though. This can be a long upload. So, yeah. Silvally Dragon's going to lead off for GW against Pokemon, MD, and his Miltank. Joey is scared of the Toxic. GW is scared of the Toxic from Joey, so he goes to Clefairy. We see Rocks there, and thankfully for Joey, it's not a Toxic Clefairy. It's actually just knockoff. So, he gets to knock off there, and that is fine. He goes for another knockoff in case he switches because he could just easily self-fold up, and he does that in the following turn, leaving himself at 92% health, and no harm done, no foul, no big deal. Yeah, Moonblast there. It's going to do 23%, so it's cool to get some chip on the Miltank. Joey, rolling out with the mascot here, as you could see. And yeah, so we're just kind of in a little stalemate to start things off, a la OU versus like Blissey, Clefable stuff, but we see a Wish here. That's going to let the Toxic come in as it absorbs the Toxic easily and gets all the way up to full. When I say all the way, I mean it quite literally only took Stealth Rock damage before. And now we see a great double from GW as he goes to Rotom, and Weezing reveals it's neutralizing gas, which is cool. He goes for a Wisp into the Silvally ground. I'm a bit surprised about that. I thought he'd go to Miltank or maybe a stand-in fish for some damage, but that's definitely a good turn for GW there as he soaks in the U-turn there, and he gets a Defog off the turn after. However, he lets the Rotom take a Toxic from a faster Miltank. I think he was expecting to be slower, which most are. Great play there by Joey. Anyway, he pivots to the Persian, and the Persian just goes for a taunt. No one can stop it from getting rocks or anything like that. And then a parting shot comes in to the Weezing in the following turn. And Sludge is actually in a crit there, which is really unfortunate for GW. He's got to burn his Citrus Berry pretty quickly, and he's still at only 61%. Thankfully, though, for GW, he's able to get a Volt Switch up for the 35% in that really fast Miltank. And he's able to keep it low, but he doesn't go for the taunt. He goes for the parting shot, and I gotta say, GW plays a great game after this, but I think this was a bit of a misplay by him. I think Taunt had to be the play there, and he lets the Miltank heal up. He does go for a Gunk Shot here, but unfortunately Joey's all over that. He breaks in the Weezing. And now Silvally Dragon comes in here now in a Sludge Bomb, and thankfully for GW it doesn't get poisoned, otherwise that would have really spelled doom to his prospects here, but to make matters even worse, he goes for Draco there, and this is like a max special attack Silvally, so it would do anywhere from 70 to 80% to this Persian Alola with that Draco, so that would have been amazing damage. It would have helped things like knock off from Toxicroak and really just anything else that the Silvally throw at it, or even the opposing Persian with Taunt do a lot better in the late game, so that was pretty fortunate there for Joey, but again, this could have been poisoned, or other things could have changed differently, so in a game that's gone pretty long, as you can see, it's 6-6 on turn 20, I don't think you can complain too much about any one turn, unless it's like deciding the game at one spot there. Joey goes for the parting shot, knowing he wants to get out of the way there, and Wishy-Washy comes in now on a Draco, and unfortunately at -1, it's still going to chip the Wishy-Washy for a nice 30%, but it didn't do a ton. Clefairy came in here thinking he'd live 2 hits, but Ice Beam does 32%, my oh my. Joey now predicts the Toxicroak and goes for a follow-up Ice Beam there. Soft Build up heals it up to 59%, but then a Hydro Pump goes out, and I don't know if it's a min-max rolls with the Ice Beam Hydro Pump, but that did 59%, that's so much damage. Now Joey goes for the Protect, stalling out the Toxic turns as the Clefairy's gone, so Joey's in a pretty sizable advantage now, and the Rotom's getting weird out, but he doesn't want to let that Wishy-Washy take too much damage, so he goes to the Persian on the Volt Switch, so he can afford to do that because he didn't take the Draco damage, and Piloswine comes in here now. It eats a Toxic, but Joey does let Rocks go up from the Piloswine there, which is good for GW in the short term. However, can he take advantage of that in the long term? Milton comes in here now. Is it on a Toxic? It is on a Toxic from Piloswine, which is a really cool fourth move we're seeing here and there in it. So that's great for GW, made a great play there. Rocks, of course, now go up on GW's side as he goes Toxic and then he doubles into the Swadloon, predicting something like the Persian to come in. But he doesn't want to take a foul play, so he goes right back to the Persian on a parting shot as Joey feels as if he's trying to head of the game here. I think that GW is going to have to get a knockoff up here, if at all possible, to slow this Wishy-Washy down. And he goes for that on the protect. Okay. And now Joey's got to make a decision. Is he okay losing leftovers or not? And the answer is not, as he goes to the Swadloon ground. Okay. I assume that he's going to let this take a foul play. It's a pretty useless Swadloon ground in this game. It does block a Volt Switch, but it's burnt. It can't do anything offensively, so I was like, what's the point? Anyway, predicting perhaps the Pilot line, Joey goes for an air slash on a knockoff. He loses his boots there, though. Then we see a parting shot there from GW. So GW making some great plays, all things considered. Anyway, Joey knows he can stomach any one hit from Scarf Croak, so he stays in. He parting shots, takes 35%, and gets the poison. So good turn from GW there. As that goes to Wishy-Washy, and Wishy-Washy, let's wait for Pilotwine to come in. Pilotwine actually comes in a Hydro Pump, which was aimed into the Toxic. So great prediction here from Joey, but unfortunately goes off to the right. So he missed that, and then he goes for Protector and to scout it, and Toxic doubles back in there. So GW taking advantage of some good fortune of his own there, and now he's finally trying to get in a threatening position as he doubles Savali Dragon, predicting the switch and getting it correctly in on the Weezing as the Weezing takes Stealth Rockets down to 88%, and Draco's going to do a whole metric fuck onto it, so Joey gets the hell out of the way and fires off the Savali ground, putting us at an even 5-5. However, I still think Joey has a pretty sizable advantage here as he goes to this Demon Wishy-Washy that looks like it's terrorizing GW's team. He goes for an Ice Beam predicting Toxic as GW makes a great play bringing Pilotwine there. And now GW can threaten it with the prospect of a Toxic or something like that. Personally, if I'm GW here, I click Ice Shard predicting the Rotom. But he goes and doubles to the Savali Dragon, and the Persian comes in. And the thing is, the Persian would have died from 7%, so that would have covered 2 to Ice Shard. But ultimately, I can't blame him for trying to get the Savali ground. This Dragon, and he needs to make progress as quick as possible. Unfortunately, this puts him on the back foot as Joey gets into Weezing on the Toxic. Toxic goes for a knockoff, and he gets a crit there, which is really helpful, as Joey doesn't want to go for the Wisp. He just goes for the Flame. Sorry, it's just in my throat, but yeah, Flamethrower there. Finally going to take out the Pilotwine right after. That invites in the Swadloon Dragon, though, and he's definitely in Draco range, so. Now, here's a great play. Knowing that this is in Draco range, and this is basically fodder at this point. GW goes for a workup, predicting the Persian fodder, and he gets that. And that's crazy, because now look at this position here. This is slower and dies. This is probably slower and dies. I don't think it's max. Maybe it is. I don't know, but I mean, Seismic Toss would kill, but I mean, if he doesn't go to the Miltank, it's definitely slower, and he doesn't. This is slower and dies. So Joey is forced to A, fodder something, plus let another thing get chipped, or go to that very valuable Wishy-Washy and take a ton of damage, 75, 80% perhaps even. And if he takes that damage, excuse me, let's think about that real quickly. He's now going to be in range for things like, say, Volt Switch or Gunk Shot. And on top of that, with this being weakened, we have 55% poisoned Miltank. We got Wishy-Washy weakened. We got Weezing 52% Rocks Up. This weakened with Rocks Up. You know, and all that against a taunt Persian and the Scarf Croak. I think there was a chance for GW to win the game, but I still think it was very much up in the air. Not trying to say Joey. I gotta pause for a sec. Sorry, guys. I gotta get some water. Hey guys, we're back. My bad. So I'm not trying to say Joey locked in there in this game, because Joey had a very likely chance of winning the game anyway, but I want to highlight that GW made a great play, and he definitely had a shot at winning this game too. And I think both these guys are really deserving, and they made a great effort here. But ultimately what happens is the Draco Meteor actually goes to the left. It misses the Wishy-Washy. Wishy-Washy, of course, able to take it out easily with Ice Beam, and that pretty much wrapped the game up from there. Joey was able to prevail with, I think, like a 2-0 or 3-0 victory. Volt Switches and whatnot can chip down the Wishy-Washy all at once, but ultimately the Draco damage was needed to prevail, as Ice Beam, of course, given how offensive this Wishy-Washy was, seems a very special attack invested in a problem, of course. And gotta say, great team there by Joey, and also good play there by GW. Really exciting game all around. Yeah, I think he just let stuff Rotom Fan like pretty much get fought off here. Oh, he goes Hex. Okay, it doesn't even matter. Yeah, and follow back just falls short of taking this out, as Persian can take it out, and then whatever he wants can pretty much fall up. And besides the Miltank, maybe the Weezing or the Wishy-Washy can fall up. Yeah, he goes Weezing here. Takes rocks. Probably Sludge Bomb kills after poison if it doesn't kill outright. And he gets Sludge Bomb, yeah, brings down to 6%, and Poisons, and that's the game. So Joey's going to advance to 1-0. GW did fall to 0-1, but his team, my team, we ended up winning the week 9-1. So I'm really happy about that. And this is our only loss, and hey, I'm fine with it. Joey's an amazing opponent, really good player, and he brought a great team. And GW definitely shows a lot of promise. He's going to win in future weeks. I'm really excited for building with him and talk about him in a new metagame. He's a really smart young mind for the game, and I'm really eager. You know, it's going to be really fun. So this is great. I'm super excited about that. Anyway, congrats to Joey in the first win. GW, don't worry, it's coming, my man. Anyway, next up we have JRDN and Realistic Waters. JRDN is a great player. He did really well last year, and he's just a really solid fundamental dude all around. And he also has the support of Eternally and Roses, the two NU cheerleaders, and two great friends of mine, two really solid NU players, and just minds for the game as well. And I think he's going to do really well. Unfortunately, though, he might have his hands full in the first week against NU veteran and really kind of the master of the gimmick in NU. Realistic Waters, one of the best players that the tier has seen in recent years, and he's quietly put up some amazing records year after year after year after year, and I'm really impressed with his ability to do so. This time around, he's got a Wishy-Washy, Savali, a Ninjask, which is a Pokemon that I'm outspoken in disliking, but hey, I mean, if it works, it works. It has been working for people. A Stunfisk, Galar, Clefairy, and Toxicroak looks like pretty tame for Realistic Waters kind of standards, I guess. I'm curious to see his stats, especially on the Toxicroak and the Savali, and what Savali type it is as well. My initial guess would be it's Savali Darker Dragon. I think he needs a fire and what? Yeah, he's got Wishy-Washy actually. He probably doesn't need to be Water Dragon at all actually. Could be dark, but we'll have to wait and see really. And when JRDN is running a really interesting team, he's got a Kangaskhan, Abomasnow, Silvally, Sandaconda, a Morpeko or Morpeko, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Please let me know in the comments how to pronounce that, because I don't know how to. And a Toxicroak. Looks like a bit more of a bulky offensive team. Actually, kind of both qualify for bulky offense, I'd say. Yeah, it's interesting. RW, Realistic Waters, could arguably be balanced. For the record, yes, Realistic Waters is the one on all Aguas Reales. Aguas Reales? I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. I'm sure it means something in another language that I simply am very ignorant towards, but anyway, gonna be interesting to see how this one pans out. Let's get on into it. I'm not gonna go ahead and belabor the point all too much. So yeah, we see Leaf Sandaconda probably trying to get the rocks up as it's the primary rocker on his team, but it runs into a Wishy-Washy. He wants to get the hell out of there. He goes Toxicroak and predicting that an Ice Beam there, and that does 86%, and you're like, oh shit, that just happened. And it is in fact a Silvally Dark, and it's like, okay, you could go for a fire move, but knowing he lives a Flame Charge or a U-turn or a multi-attack, you want to fire up the Blizzard here, so JRDN just does that. And he does 43% there, which is a good deal of damage. He then doubles and he switches into his Silvally. Yo, sorry, I'm like losing it already. Oh my gosh. He goes for a sub on the Thunder Wave, and you're like, oh shit. There's no Ghost Resist besides Silvally Dark on this team, and that might not want to take a boost of Judgment, but then it's foul play, and it breaks the sub, and you're like, oh. Multi-attack, he's able to take it out in retaliation though, so not all hope is lost. Silvally Dark comes in to revenge kill that, which is fine, as forcing the Sandaconda. Does 37%, but it takes Helmet in return. He goes for another, does 34%, and this time we see a Glare from the Sandaconda. It's going to cripple that. And then he throws Rocks up as another multi-attack is going to take out Sandaconda. So Sandaconda pretty much was traded Rocks and Paralysis and 3 Rocky Helmets for his life, which is fair. Aura Reel is going to take out the Silvally from 45%. And switch it, Hunger Switch to Morpeko, get that speed boost, but ultimately it's going to not get the hell out of there because the Clefairy can Body Press it. Body Press, however, it's something that Silvally is immune to, of course, as it's a Ghost type, but it's also a Shadow Ball, so we're going to see a trade of 58% of the health there in return for that kill, and then Abomasnow is going to come in and take it with Blizzard, which opens up the game quite a bit for the opposing Toxicroak and Kangaskhan potentially, but dual Wing Beat Ninjask is going to take out the Abomasnow. And it's going to be hard for JRDN to deal with this. He goes to the Kangaskhan here, and Kangaskhan is going to be able to potentially get a fake out up, but it's protect on that Ninjask, and perhaps JRDN went for a double edge predicting switch to someone like Wishy-Washy. I'm not too sure, but either way, Sucker Punch there does do a nice 46% in U-turn, so that's a great deal of chip there, which can help later on, but now the Toxicroak comes in, and the Kangaskhan's actually quicker. He goes for an Earthquake, and it just barely hangs on. Oh my goodness. Wow. Might have been a roll there, I'm not too sure, but now it looks like Morpeko's going to have to do the work here as he gets an Aura Wheel up, and that gives him +1 speed, but Is he going to have a way around this Ninjask? We're going to have to find out. I don't know. I think the Ninjask wins the game. He could U-turn into Croak, and yeah, but U-turn just kills him more. Yeah, I don't see a way out. Yeah, it looks like when Pico will kill the Wishy-Washy, if even, I don't know if it'll even kill it, honestly. And then the Ninjask should be able to kill with U-turn to win the game. But damn, the game absolutely came down to that Toxic Croak living or not. Really fortunate sequence of events there for Realistic Waters, but also he played a great game, and so did Jaredien. Good, very tight game overall. And congratulations to Realistic Waters on his first win of the season. And as for Jaredien, I'm sure he's going to get his wins, so definitely a tight one. I'm really excited to see what these guys have in store for the new metagame. Anyway, getting into our third game, we got Schneider versus Skipcan. Skipcan's more of a PU player again, but he's really solid there. We actually played twice in the PU Premier League, and we split 2, and that's impressive considering I'm, clearly the best PU player of all time and all that. You know how it goes. But nah, all jokes aside, he's really solid. He was a bit better in SM and PU than SSPU, interestingly enough. So I'm not sure how brushed up he is with other SS tiers, especially like NU. But he was kind of a last-ditch sub for Kushalos, who didn't show up on time, and well, the rest is history. Let's see how it goes. He's bringing a team with Executor, regular Executor, thankfully Executor Low was in the tier at the time. Basculin, which looks pretty solid here, all things considered. Clefairy, Silvally, Rotom, Fan, and Ferroseed. And it looks like Silvally is Silvally Fire, as we see in the early turns, as Clefairy gets rocks up. And speaking of Clefairy, Nidoran also has one, plus Garbodor, Eldegoss, Rotom, Togedemaru, and a Silvally of his own. Looks pretty standard, also considered just a solid balance team. We're seeing Schneider go for Stealth Rock with his Clef, and then Spikes with his Garbodor, and then he goes right out to Eldegoss trying to get some spins off on the Ferroseed perhaps. But we see Rotom Fan double in as well, and now that's going to prompt Nidoran to go into his own Rotom, but it's Rotom Regular, not Rotom Fan. As a Defog removes hazards from both sides. And then a Volt switch into the Ferroseed is going to give some momentum for the Silvally fighting of Schneider. Very interesting. And that baits into Clefairy, and he doubles the Garbodor. Wow, great play there. Ferroseed comes in for Skipcan. He goes for Spikes as the Ferroseed enters. And interesting to see what he's going to do. He's going to go to Clefairy here. Not really scared of Jarable or Nog, I guess. As we see both get rocks up. And the Jarable only just 48%. Alright, that's not too much. So softball there. Jarable, yeah, 47. Yeah, it's not breaking through this no matter what. There are more softball PP than Jarable PP. You need like running credit. So ultimately, Skipcan gets the hell out of the way. He goes to his own Clefairy. That invites back into Garbodor though. He goes for Teleport into Executor and like, oh shit, Spec Psychic looks real good here. Unless this is a fast Garbodor, and it doesn't seem to be given what we've seen Calc thus far. And Skipcan and Schneider both come to the conclusion that they gotta, proceed accordingly. So Psychic does 52% to a Togedemaru, and you're like, oh damn. Togedemaru not only takes rocks on top of that, but also Iron Barb from U-turn, and Unidos like definitely not taking another Psychic ever again. So Executor looks like it's about to go off in this game. However, he does have some offensive pressure and spikes. His Volt Switch happens there into the Ferroseed, which was the Togedemaru follow-up, of course. That invites him to Eldegoss, interestingly enough. And it's interestingly enough, also, I don't know why I keep saying interestingly enough. Oh my god, I sound like a broken record. But regardless, it's Rocky Helmet Eldegoss. It gets the spin off and also gets Rocky Helmet damage up on the Ferroseed. But due to Wish plus Teleport, he's able to heal up the Ferroseed. It was at 4%, all up to 62%. So that's really good. As now Skipcan doubles back into the Clefairy, takes a 37% Leaf Storm from Eldegoss on Schneider's side. And now we see a double to Garbodor, and I am struggling to keep up with these guys. My oh my, it's like PS got faster and I got slower. Jokes aside though, we see Rotom come in on a Gunk Shot aimed in with Clefairy. It's just 48 and it poisons. That's a really good turn for Schneider there. I think that felt a little rushed to me, but anyway, Schneider gets out of the way now, predicting a Pan Split or a Will-O-Wisp, and he goes to his Rotom to keep up momentum, and there's no Volt Immune on Skipcan's side, so he goes to the Basculin on the Volt Switch. I guess the Eldegoss was kind of suffocating it, but I felt like that was premature. But now I feel like Schneider's starting to pull away after a great start from Skipcan. We see rocks there, and Eldegoss goes for another spin. Yep, no frozen taps there. It's pretty simple. Now we see Garbodor come right back in here, and you're wondering like, okay, is anything going to stop this Garbodor from just spamming hazards for the remainder of eternity? And well, to answer your question, I don't really think so. As the Ferroseed gets all the way back up to 84% with the Wish, but it just invites Eldegoss in every single time as the Rotom gets weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. He goes for a Defog again, but now he's at only 17% after the poison. You're like, oh crap. Ferroseed comes in here now on a Shadow Ball, This time doing 32%, that's some nice chip. And now he goes for another one. It's like, okay, fuck it, I'm shipping this Fire Seed for good. He goes for a Leech Seed, so it's not even able to take it out. And now Schneider doubles into the Silvally Fighting on a Silvally Fire from Skipcan, like, oh shit, progress. But Skipcan gets out of the way. He goes to the Clefairy. It only takes 26% from a crit. That invites into other Clefairy. We see Teleport, Fire Seed back in. We're like, okay. Back through the motions we go. Rocks here, rocks there, rocks everywhere. Garbodor comes back in now, hopefully trying to get maybe spikes up. And Clefairy is like, well played there. As it now forces in the Rotom Fan. Rotom Fan comes in on a Gunk Shot as well to finish it off. So now rocks are up to stay in the future sets as well. So Skipcan's just like, okay, screw it. I'm going into the Executor. I'm trying to get a kill here. He goes for a Psychic into Eldegoss. Then he goes for a Future Sight. Future Sight. I'm surprised. Psychic looked just as good there. Well, whatever. Now enables the spin there, and he just stays in with the Eldegoss to take the Future Sight. Swords Dance from Silvally Fire as he misses Leaf Storm. Another Swords Dance here on another Leaf Storm. 21% this time from the Skipcan side. He goes for Flame Charge, so now it's a +4 attack, +1 speed, 32% Silvally Fire. But Togedemaru is able to take out the Zingzap from there, and Self-Effect to 25%, so it's not a viable win condition. To make matters worse, Skipcan gets crit by Zingzap with the Fire Seed fodder as it dies from 22%, not getting another Iron Barb's turn in there. So Light Fighting comes in here now, and it goes for Future Sight again, not Psychic. Again, I don't know why, honestly, but sure, why not? And at this point, it looks like it's pretty much over. I don't see any way that Skipcan's able to break this. He's going to be able to do some damage with the Executor maybe, but that's about it. Teleports are just not going to save you, even if you wish up that Silvally Fire all day. It seems as if it's too little too late, and it also is Toxic Clefairy that doesn't let the Silvally Fire set up much. Moonblast is there, the Clefairy goes for Wish. Garbodor comes in here now, predicting a Protect. He comes in correctly on the Protect, and now he's able to set up Spikes to make matters even worse for Skipcan. And he actually stays in on the Gunk Shot, takes 62%, goes for the Teleport, and now the Clefairy is pretty much gone. Executor comes in here now, and Silvally Fighting is going to be fired up here to finally a Psychic from Skipcan. Congratulations, man, you clicked the right move. But that lets the Togedemaru come to the revenge kill. U-turn is going to barely not take out the Clefairy, lives at 1%, but Rotom can simply do the trick with a Volt Switch, which lets the Togedemaru come right back in. So it looks as if Schneider is going to win this game here. Well played, all things considered. Yeah, sorry if my voice was just a little lower there. I'm not sure if that was the case. I just did something real quick. But yeah, we see Garbodor here, and it should be able to pressure the last Pokemon to Silvally Fire, perhaps with like Stomping Tantrum. Psychic. Oh, it's the Psychic. Oh, yeah, Psychic, so solid too. And now multi-attack, even if it does kill, which it does, Aftermath will take it out. Yeah, so it's probably more of a specially defensive Garbodor. But yeah, it's a wrap. Good for special Toxic, by the way. Psychic and specially defensive. But yeah, so Skipcan's going to fall on his debut, unfortunately, to Schneider, who is the favorite in the field, did really well last year, and is off to a similarly good start this year. So he won 3-0. Alright, we got two more NU games. We got Aladdin versus Holland confirmed. First and foremost, I actually saw this one live. Unfortunately, I was at dinner, so I couldn't quite record it, but it's fine. We got Aladdin using a bulky offensive team. Magneton, Silvally, Rotom, Frost, Golurk, Basculin, and Toxtricity. Unfortunately, we lost Golurk to RU, but it's fine. And Holland using a balanced team himself. Stunfisk Galar, Tangela, Persian Alola, Miltank, Silvally, and Rotom Fan. We see just some little damage and tripling exchange. Ultimately, Basculin in on Tangela. Tangela is not afraid of Ice Beam. And he goes for Geek Drain to Rotom Frost there. Rotom Frost goes for Volt Switch into Stunfisk. I'm like, okay, bet. But Stunfisk can't actually do crap to the Rotom. It just yawns and it takes a whisk to negate his leftovers, so that's not great for it. I'm surprised to see both Stunfisk and Miltank at the same time. I feel like they're both kind of dedicated rockers, but it might be like a heal ball or something, Miltank, which in that case will help mitigate the damage taken from the burn. Either way, we see Golurk from Aladdin go for Stealth Rock here as the Magneton comes in on a knockoff from the Tangela. U-turn there does a nice 19% for the Holland side, and that its damage is probably there to stay. But Teleport there from the Magneton lets the Rotom Frost come in. He goes for Blizzard into the Stunfisk there for a nice 34%. Alright. Now Golurk comes in for Aladdin on a yawn, but it's like, okay, I guess. Forcing switches is cool, but making progress is a little better. And seeing as this Rotom Frost has boots, it's not going to do that. Another yawn there from Holland, like, okay, cool. It seems like a little cheeky, these plays. Now it's Snap Trap. Yeah, Snap Trap, see, that's just not doing enough, unfortunately. And it will leave the Golurk at 67%, but Tangela comes right in here to the wallet, even if it goes for the Close Combat or Poltergeist. Just, he crashed might do a bit. But Close Combat does 31%. It's actually a lot. Tangela goes for another Giga Drain, this time critting the Magneton, leaving it at 30% after doing 30%, healing it up a little bit. Stunfisk comes in here now, teleport though, and invites in the Bastion. You're like, oh, wait a minute, watch the special Bastion check on Hoenn team. You're like, well, results not found, 404 error, so therefore we send a Pokemon to the hellhole. With Hoenn now being down 6-5, he goes to Tangela here, trying to get another Giga Drain or knockoff just to cripple that Magneton a little bit more. Flash Cannon in the Magneton just as its dying last move, as Tangela takes it out with a Leaf Storm for 15%, putting it at 33%, letting the Bastion from Hell come in once more, as that's going to prompt the Miltank being fired up. It is heavy duty boots Miltank, interestingly enough, and since it's not max speed plus, it's going to fall to 2 Hydro Pumps in sweeping succession. However, Persian comes in to try and knock off our Foul Play to Basculin, but that is a short-lived effort as the Toxic from Aladdin comes in and loses its Scarf in return. That's going to prompt Hoenn to go for a parting shot if he doesn't want to take a fighting move or a gunk shot, and he brings in the Rotom Fan. Rotom Fan takes the gunk shot, comfortably taking only 48% because it's at -1. And from there, we see the Rotom come in, get a defog off, and then Volt Switch on out of there as the opposing Rotom Frost, which of course does well against Rotom Fan, comes in, and he hits the Blizzard on the Tangela, so it's going to put Aladdin in a 5-3 position, but now Silvally Ghost comes in, and it's able to take out the Rotom Dash now in a 4-3 position. Basculin comes in, of course, to try and chip this, but Rotom Fan comes in, dodges the first Hydro Pump, but the second one is able to connect, so it kind of negates that first time effect. That's then inviting the Persian Alola, which goes for a knockoff. It does 40% to the Basculin, but more importantly, it knocks off Mystical Water, meaning that the Persian is always going to live. And now you can go for a Foul Play into the Golurk, and you're like, wait a minute, this is looking like a closer endgame than I imagined. And stood out to say, indeed, as Foul Play chips the Dragon Silvally, and he goes for a Flame Charge here. Now here's a big turn. See, Flame Charge makes it so that this Silvally is quicker than the Persian. So 10% damage, it leaves it at 8. He can go for another. He's at +2 speed. And look at this Silvally, the Silvally Ghost from Hoenn. Now, thankfully for Hoenn, this Silvally is in range for multi-attack. So therefore, he gets a multi-attack off, he kills this. However, after taking a multi-attack from this Silvally, he's now going to be in Basculin range no matter what. So therefore, for Hoenn to have a chance at winning, he needs to beat this Silvally while being alive and having a speed boost under its belt. So for Aladdin to not let that be possible, if he goes for a second Flame Charge here to kill this, he'll be at +2 speed. There's no way for Silvally to get up 2 Flame Charges and kill the opposing Silvally when the opposing Silvally does over half it 2 kills with the multi-attack. Therefore, not Flame Charging here is a choke for Aladdin, because what happens is this is going to die to the multi-attack. Of course it would, but Flame Charge killed anyway. It was at 8%, you were at 10, and you didn't even die to a Foul Play. So he gets the multi-attack off, but it turns out it is Flame Charge when the Silvally goes. So now it's like, wait a fucking minute, what the hell is happening? So we got a 50-50 here, and if Aladdin loses the speed tie, because this is definitely speed tie, they all run max plus, then all of a sudden you're like, hold up. If this is Psychic Fangs, it's always going to kill Croak, and if not, it still has like a 75-80% chance to kill with the multi-attack. And even then, the Croak doesn't actually kill. Scarf Earthquake or Knockoff puts it at 15%, but it turns out that the Basculin went to Aqua Jet in the last slot, so in theory, if Hoenn wins the tie, then he gets min damage and a Toxic Stroke, he still loses, so it still slightly favors Aladdin because of that. But like, why turn 100% chance winning into like a 65% chance win? And thankfully for Aladdin, after hitting all those blizzards and Hydro Pumps, he's able to prevail here and win the speed tie. Really unfortunate for Hoenn. I love rooting for dudes in their debuts, as you guys know, and I think it's really cool to see less experienced players kind of get a chance in the big stage. But hey, Aladdin's still a great player, and while he's coming off of a bit of a ban and hiatus, so I'm glad to see him back as well. So congratulations to him as a win. Hoenn, don't worry, man, you're getting a win soon for sure. Just keep at it. Anyway, one last game for the road between bugsrc RC, longtime UU player, and Cyber Odin, longtime old generation OU player. Both these guys were slotted in NU. Bugsy's played NU and PU and UU this gen. Odin has not really played this gen. He played old generations of OU as far as I know, but hey, he's solid. Let's get into the teams. As for Bugsy RC, my boy, we've been friends since like 2013. In fact, the RC at the end of his name refers to Rage Channel, which is a channel on Pokemon Online, a simulator that predated Pokemon Showdown, which we both used to hang out with. A couple of other noteworthy people on Pokemon Online that now play in Smadloon still to this day. People like Metal Gross, Zoro Dark were in that channel, for example. Meeps was in that channel. Yeah, you know, gang. But nah, Bugsy's my boy. We go way back. You know, so I'm always hoping he's doing well. But Odin's a really great opponent as well. He's one of the best ADV players, just solid overall. So he said his team play too. Looking at the teams, Bugsy's bringing some stall with the tap dancer, Mr. Rhyme. Always cool to see him tried out. For some reason, he's got a Ninjas too. Maybe it's like some attempt at semi-stall. For some reason, but why is everyone using Ninjas, man? Oh, did I miss the memo? Like, everyone using Ninjas gets National Ninjas Awareness like season. Because shit, all summer, everyone and their mom's been using Ninjas, and I'm like, I don't even know. So, alright, I'm just gonna accept it. Anyway, Eldegoss, Miltank, Quagsire, you're like, oh yeah, this is a stall from Bugsy. And yeah, it's pretty much semi-stall. Ninjask, Mr. Rhyme, and Garbodor. As for Cyber Odin, we got Weezing, Wishy-Washy, Galurk, which is always cool to see, Miltank, a Ninjask, and a Rotom fan as well. So let's see what we got going. I'd say the match for probably favors Bugsy is the Mr. Rhyme looks hard to switch into. And on top of that, Galurk is checked by Eldegoss, plus, you know, if he goes for close combat or Poltergeist or Earthquake, you kind of gauge your switches around accordingly. So yeah, Digital Generator plus Wall Score, basically. But yeah, let's get into it. My bad. So right off the bat, we're going to see a lead Miltank here for Bugsy on a Rotom fan. And Will was there. He's going to be great, but he's going to let Rocks go up Odin, that is. And he's going to probably be scared of Toxic here, so he's going to want to Volt Switch out of there. He Volt Switches for a nice 30% into that Weezing, which turns out it is in fact neutralizing gas as well, just like Joey's. Comes in on a Toxic. That's a great start there for Odin. Some nice plays, avoiding the Toxic with the Rotom. And now neutralizing Gasser. He's going to set up Toxic Spikes as Mr. Rhyme comes in, interestingly enough. And the Tap Dancer does not score around as he goes for a Psychic right off the bat for a nice 36% into Odin's Heavy Duty Boots Miltank as he goes for a Milk Drink, and Garbodor comes in here now, soaking up some Toxic Spikes, but ultimately Stealth Rocks are set up now, but the Miltank on Odin's side now takes the Toxic from the Garbodor, and you're like, oh. However, Garbodor is not done either as it goes for Spikes here as the Weezing comes out. And Mr. Rhyme's like, I don't want any of this, so he comes in and he takes a nice 50% from a Fire Blast there, interestingly enough, and that's going to be threatening, but ultimately, Bugsy don't give a crap. He goes for a Slack Off and it's like it never happened. Toxic there from Mr. Rhyme, from Miltank into Mr. Rhyme is cool, and he's quicker, but Mr. Rhyme goes for a Nasty Plant, and you're like, oh, this ain't good. And Psychic confirms that hypothesis as it takes out the Miltank at +2. And you're like, wait, I gotta go to Ninjas to Revenge Kill this? Hello? That's gonna do like negative 12% to the Quagsire, and to answer your question, actually did 25% to the Quagsire, not negative 25, but I suppose there's not a huge difference. Regardless of that, though, we see the Weezing back in here. Kid Mind is taking Spikes as well due to having neutralizing gas, but anyway, he goes for a Sludge Bomb, and he connects against the Garbodor, but I don't really know what he's gonna be able to do to the Garbodor, as Garbodor is probably gonna be Psychic on this team. And he goes for the Psychic into the Weezing for a nice 36%. Keep in mind, again, it's there for especially special variants or just physical variants like of Toxic Stroke. Psychic does a ton to it, so yeah. Golurk comes in now and it eats the Psychic for 16%, and that's cool for Odin as he's going to get this threaded. But Eldegoss, again, the Regen Cores are able to deal with it, and they see he chugs off that Earthquake for 27%, and now he could go for a Sleep Powder or a Rapid Spin. He goes for the Sleep Powder, but it misses the Rotom fan there. Air Slash here on the Sleep Powder follow-up, so that's good. Bugsy was persisting with the issue, didn't get flinched or crit, so good for him. And now double to Ninjask here for Odin on the Mr. Rhyme. Good play. But Miltank's going to come in for Bugsy, and it's like, okay, no big deal at all. U-Turn's going to chip it for 20%, and Golurk's going to come in and try and Revenge Kill it. But this is his only Poltergeist resist, so I wonder if he's going to try and keep it alive. With Miltank being lower, maybe he's going to go for the Toxic. He does just go for the Toxic on the Drain Punch. Okay, interesting there from Odin. He's going to be Drain Punch on the Golurk. Perhaps it's Iron Fist Twist Band or something like that. Either way, Mr. Rhyme comes in here now, and it's just a huge strat if he's got Freeze Dry. Wishy-Washy comes in to test that theory, and is going to come in on an Ice Beam, so that is good for Odin. But what's going to be in store for this turn? The answer to your question is lots of Eldegoss, as U-Turn is going to come into Eldegoss doing 42%, inviting in Ninjask, and Eldegoss is weak, and so it wants to get out of there and regen up, as Garbodor comes in on the U-Turn doing 18% to it from the Ninjask, and Golurk is right back in business after taking Stealth Rock, Spikes, and Poison, and by that I mean it's actually a lot less in business because it's only at 37% now, and Eldegoss came in on the Poltergeist and killing it through the Heavy Duty Boots, and you're like, oh damn, Poltergeist actually looks great with these two gone. Odin might have a shot here, but now the Golem goes down, the Golurk goes down to the Mr. Rhyme, and you're like, wait a minute, Mr. Rhyme's kind of annoying. Garbodor is going to be able to keep him in check with this Ninjask potentially as U-Turns are just chipping it down slowly but surely. Might not be able to do that forever, now it's only 40%, we'll have to wait and see. Wishy-Washy comes in now though, trying to Revenge Kill this Garbodor, or it'll take a hit and then like Revenge Kill it, I guess, and going to this 31, And then Wishy-Washy goes for Scald. It only does 27% in this very special defensive Garbodor, and you're like, wait a minute. We got the regular Wishy-Washy. No! As it dives to Psychic from 6%, and that's that. Ninjask comes in here now for a revenge kill with the Wing Beat, and he connects, taking that out and making it a 3-3 game, with Ninjask taking 25% from Aftermath. Keep in mind though, it's Boot, so it's not taking damage from rocks. Anyway, he goes for U-turn in the Quagsire, leaving it just below half health, bringing in the Weezing, and it looks like it's going to be a challenge for Odin to take out this Quagsire in late game. Of all things to take out, to struggle with, it's Quagsire this teammate is struggling with. We're going to see Toxic Spikes there from the Quagsire, but Earthquake from the Weezing, but Earthquake from the Quagsire is going to take it out in return. We now see a Protect on the sleeping Rotom. I'm not sure about that, honestly, from Bugsy. He tries and goes for Toxic now. It doesn't wake up. It doesn't wake up again. He goes for another Toxic, and Bugsy's like, alright, wake the fuck up already. And he goes for the Will-O-Wisp, and they basically trade status there, but Bugsy misses the Toxic, and now there's a chance for this to get flinched out, perhaps. We see one Air Slash there for 31%, but the Toxic's going to land for Bugsy, so now we need some flinches in quick succession for Odin to have any chance of prevailing here. It's a Protect Quagsire, which makes matters even worse for Odin, as Burn is negated by Leftover, so it's not even losing anything, and the poison is racking up. We see an Air Slash there. Is it going to flinch? It's not going to flinch, and Bugsy looks like he's got a huge advantage now. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to lose this advantage at any point in the remainder of the game. Ninja comes in here now predicting to Protect, and he gets it incorrectly, but at what point can it take advantage of Quagsire when it's basically doing 25% tops? And the answer to that question is never, as the Quagsire recovers in the Protect, and it looks like it's going to be able to win this game here for Bugsy. And the it's a B. The Rattlers, sorry, the Rattlers, his team, the Rattlers. And Toxic there is not going to do enough as the Rotom fan comes in and absorbs that, but Rotom fan is still already on a timer, and the Quagsire just seems to be kind of sitting there. I imagine he just fires off the Rhyme. Yeah, he fires off the Rhyme, it dies to the Air Slash, but it looks as if Bugsy is going to be able to win this game by virtue of his Toxic Stall, as Ninjask comes in, it protects in the face of this Rotom fan, living at 2%, and now with the extra speed boost in hand, it's going to be able to clean out the game with dual Wing Beat. And even if it didn't, then the Quagsire would also defeat the Ninjask as well. So a great game, well played by both, but in particular Bugsy was able to prevail here, and well played by him. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you guys want more NU content, guys. Let me know your thoughts on these games, let me know your thoughts on the tier shifts, and so much more. We're getting close to 5,000 subscribers, guys, and I would like to get to it very soon, so let's get there. And, be sure to hit that like button and comment if you enjoyed the NU content. And alright, guys, have a great day. Peace out.